Okay, so imagine this. It's the final boss of your campaign, a blue Dracolich. He goes first and unleashes a devastating lightning breath weapon attack, which everyone fails, until the fighter uses Indomitable, re-rolling with a plus 11 to the check. The Peace Cleric's Bless and Child Divinity gives everyone another plus 2d4 on that saving throw, and everyone gets a reroll thanks to the Musician feat that the Monk has had since level 1. Everyone now passes. Cleric's turn, Divine Intervention, 2024 Hallow spell. No saving throw for your Dracolich, who now has vulnerability to bludgeoning damage. The Dracolich gets a legendary action to swipe at the Cleric, which is a crit until the fighter drops a Silvery Barbs, which they got for free at level 1 with the Magic Initiate feat. Dragon re-rolls with a 23 to hit, which the Cleric blocks with a shield spell as a reaction. It doesn't cost a spell slot because it's from their Enspelled Armor. Now it's the Monk's turn. With a flurry of blows, it's 5 attacks against the Dracolich, all of which deal double damage because it's vulnerable to bludgeoning. 10d10 plus 50 damage. The champion fighter then steps in and rocks an action surge for 6 attacks with Bless. They miss one, but re-roll with the heroic inspiration they get at the start of every turn. Another 12d10 plus 60 damage, but now it's your blue Dracolich's turn, and it's dead. A CR-17 Dracolich, Terror of the Continent, defeated in less than 1 round by 3 level 11 adventurers. Can we be surprised that many dungeon masters ask themselves the question, is it just impossible for players to fail in D&D now? Look, D&D has come a long way from the wargaming era of the 1970s. It puts tools in players' hands that eclipse anything you'd have seen 50 years ago. And that is by design. The DM advice at the start of the D&D Beyond official adventure Goblin Trouble is very clear. Let players succeed as much as possible. I mean, hell, even if a hero dies, you can just pay 2,000 gold to resurrect them at any town or city now. Just swing by a temple at some point within the next 10 days. That is the philosophy the new rules have taken. It feels good to succeed, it feels bad to fail, so let's make players succeed as much as possible. Say that to a wargamer in the 1970s and they'd probably have a heart attack, but that's not what this video is about. I don't want to argue whether it's better or worse, I want to focus on, because this is the way the game is now, how do we craft a thrilling, dangerous experience with all the power that players have. This is how to make D&D terrifying. Not because we're sociopaths who enjoy torturing our friends, but because if we make the threats real, the victories will be all the sweeter.
Hey dude, are you married?
No. Do you want to be?
Oh, dude, I'm flattered, but I'm straight.
Shh. Just hear me out, okay?
Whoa. This is a Thorum ring, forged from the Gibeon meteorite that fell to Earth thousands of years ago.
It's made from a literal meteorite?
They even have rings made from freaking T-Rex bone, dude.
Oh, wait, I thought you were vegan.
Nobody's that vegan.
I mean, I want the ring, but can't I just get one? Like, we don't have to get married.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess you could just get one, yeah, unless you wanted to get married.
Nah, no, that's fine. I'll just grab some stuff myself.
Yeah, silly idea anyway.
Thorum are real-life artificers, handcrafting rings with materials from meteorite to dinosaur bone to whiskey barrels. With over 10,000 5-star reviews and over a decade's worth of experience, these are the ultimate rings, whether you need a wedding band, anniversary ring, or just something that looks awesome. They also use 100% ethical diamond simulants in rings that bear them. Rock on the right way, harming nobody and looking badass while doing it. Everything has a lifetime warranty, plus free worldwide shipping, and they've even started making watches featuring meteorite, Hawaiian koa wood, and California redwood. These are the ultimate artisan accessories for both men and women, and you can use my promo code D&D Shorts to get 20% off a truly unique ring. Just head to thorum.com and remember promo code D&D Shorts for 20% off. Wear your story with Thorum. Link in description. Let's start with the obvious. You have been lied to about what matters in this game. 99% of encounters in official D&D fail to address how the game works now, and that is that hit points are the least important resource a player has. It is essential that people understand this, so I'll say it again. hit points are the least important resource a player has. Hit points are cheap. You are just as effective if you have one as if you have 10,000. The only relevant hit point is your last, and if you do fall to 0, you can be back in the action in seconds whenever a cleric or a druid drops a healing word on you as a bonus action. So why does almost every monster and trap in this game focus on reducing a player's hit points and nothing else? There's 1,001 creatures out there who just have variants on roll a dice, make other people's hit points go down. It's not scary or interesting. Theoretically, scarier creatures just deal more damage, but it doesn't work. It's not actually scary. Even if a creature dealt 800 damage and insta-killed everyone on a single hit, it wouldn't be scary, it would just be cheap and boring. Here's the solution. You need to use what I call draining encounters. This is how you save D&D. A draining encounter is any trap, battle, or mechanic not specifically designed to damage players, but to rob them of resources they actually care about. Here's a straightforward example. The Soul Tearing Spirit. CR 4 undead, AC 13, HP 44, a bunch of resistances, typical ghost stuff. But it's got one monstrous ability called Soul Tear. This is a melee weapon attack, deals 13 necrotic damage on a hit, and then it steals a species trait or a subclass/class feature from the target. So if this attack hits a fighter, they lose a use of their second wind or action surge. If it hits a sorcerer, they might lose a use of their innate sorcery or a sorcery point. If it hits a lizard folk, they might lose a use of their hungry jaws bonus action bite attack. But that's not all, because the spirit doesn't just steal a resource, it then uses it. When the spirit steals a resource from a player, it gets 1 soul point, which it can use to attack again as a bonus action, or dodge and disengage, or gain magical resistance until the end of its next turn. The Soul Tearing Spirit isn't very strong. It's dealing pathetic damage for a CR4 creature, and its AC is very mid. It is terrifying, because who cares about damage? You do not want to lose a use of your action surge. A warlock getting their magical cunning feature stripped away is devastating. These are the resources that actually matter. But draining encounters don't have to be monsters. There's too many combat encounters in this game anyway. Introducing the Magitech Engine trap. Your heroes stumble into a room and the door slams shut behind them. In the center of the room is a colossal engine belching smoke and steam. The denizens of this dungeon have overclocked the engine. It is going to blow up in 12 seconds or 2 rounds. When it blows, it deals a number of D12 damage equal to the average party level. So if everyone is level 5, it's dealing 5d12 damage. That's nasty. However, you can dampen the explosion of the Magitech engine with magic. Any spells cast on it reduce the impact of the blast by a number of d12s equal to that spell's level. So if the cleric dropped, say, Spirit Guardians into the Magitech engine, which is a 3rd level spell, the 5d12 damage is reduced to 2d12 instead. Then the wizard can use their turn to cast Shatter on the engine, a 2nd level spell, and reduce the damage down to 0, nullifying the explosion. Simple encounter, a fun bit of stress and decision making, but you've also ripped resources away from your players. The Magitech engine isn't meant to blow up, it's meant to steal resources. And if you want to really make it brutal, put the Magitech engine in a room where there are also enemies attacking the party. Suddenly, players have to decide whether they use spell slots on the engine to reduce the incoming explosion or try and take down the bad guys. Suddenly, it's about thinking on your feet, and it's tense and it's dangerous, and even if your players win, they've kind of lost because you've whittled them down. But my favorite way to drain resources that we have to talk about is curses. Temporary curses are criminally underused in this game. Don't have your curses last forever, just have them last for 1 day. Make them an interesting thing that makes this session way more challenging, forcing your players to adapt and grow and try new things, and yeah, maybe have a small panic attack. These curses can be triggered in any number of ways. Maybe your players are tuned to a cursed item. Maybe they fail a saving throw against a magical rune trap. Maybe they sleep with the wrong strong temptation demon. Example, the Curse of Overwhelming Selfishness. This goes so hard on a cleric or a paladin. While cursed, the hero cannot target anyone except for themselves with beneficial spells, features, traits, or items. A cleric with this curse can be the only beneficiary of a spell like Bless or Aid. A paladin who has this can only target themselves with their Lay on Hands feature. Suddenly, the healer that everyone's relying on turns out to be an asshole who won't help anyone but themselves, and it's really fun to roleplay these temporary curses. How does the Curse of Selfishness affect you as a person that day? How do you change your tactics in battle as a cleric who can no longer target your allies? By the way, all these rules expansions I'm talking about are part of this month's content drop on Patreon. I'll link that down below. There's more curses in there, but here's another simple one, the Curse of Magical Taxation. For as long as you're cursed, anytime you cast a leveled spell, you have to expend an additional spell slot of any level, otherwise the spell fails. This is an amazing curse if you have a wizard or a sorcerer in the party with a ton of first level spell slots and you're sick of them having infinite resources to spam on shield or silvery barbs. Suddenly, you need to hold on to those cheap spell slots so you can push through your heavy hitters like Hypnotic Pattern and Fireball. Curses are awesome. I mean, they're horrible for the hero themselves, but they add incredible tension and drama and temporary gimmicks to make every session more exciting. The point of all of this is simple. We want our players staggering, bloodied, and brutalized into every long rest. We want them to be begging in every waking moment for a soft bed and pillows. Long rest should feel like the two most beautiful words in the English language, and the only way to make that happen is to hit players in the resources that actually hurt. These types of encounters are also awesome for another reason. They're quick. If you're only targeting a player's resources through traditional combat, you need to run a full hour-long encounter just to maybe deal a little bit of damage and rob them of a couple of spell slots. But with a Magitech Engine, bing bang boom, thrilling moment, 5 minutes, and then you move on. That's the other trick to making D&D exciting. Don't let it grind. Then, when your players do fight that Dracolich, they're coming in bloodied, bruised, and desperate. Now you have a real fight on your hand, a fight that they've earned just by being there. All these draining encounters were part of this month's Patreon pack, but I've included the stuff we talked about today for free in the link below. If you want more, this month's pack also includes a bunch of rules to make D&D more exciting and challenging. Hardcore mode rules, variant rules for short and long rests, resurrection penalties, and a scaling threat level if your players take too many rests in a dangerous location. If you are running high-intensity D&D, you have to check them out. That's of course in addition to the 200 pages of content you can grab immediately if you support on Patreon today. That includes new species, subclasses, monsters, feats, spells, rules expansions, and ready-to-play adventures. At the moment, I donate 50% of this channel's ad revenue to charity, but I can make it 100% if we can reach 2,000 supporters on Patreon. We are over halfway there already. Every bit of support counts, and the content is incredible for your games. And yeah, that's all I got. Remember to like and subscribe, check out other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time.